side of those black rhinos. And if you see that, you've got front glasses on. Because both the black rhino and the white rhino are actually grey. This fella looks brown, because guess what, the foliage around here. So he is covered in a bit of dirt. If you look, say, at the base of his ears, or sometimes in the creases of his skin there as well, you'll see that the skin colour is actually grey. So why is the white rhino the white rhino? Well, I apologise for my really bad pronunciation, but probably that's how it occurs. Because these could be the Bade rhino, Bade, which is Afrikaans for wide. Their proper name should be the wide-lipped rhino. If he gets and picks his head up, you'll actually see his lips are actually wider, almost in his mouth. Very wide lips, parallel with the ground. The wider the lips, the more grass you can eat. The more grass you can eat, the greater your chances of survival. So he's actually a wide-lipped rhino. He's a grass eater. Hence I just give him a bit of hay to munch on. Wide lips. I've unheard for wide was bud, but that misheard as white. So that's all white rhino. Nothing to do with colour whatsoever. So why are the black rhinos the black rhinos? Because they're not the white ones. Because one was called white, the other one got called black. Nothing to do with colour whatsoever. It's purely to do with what they eat. The white rhino is a grass eater. The black rhino is a leaf eater. Their upper lip is almost a bit prehensile shape there. They actually wrap around twigs. Black rhino in theory, the black rhino and the white rhino can cohabit in the same area. One eats grass, one eats leaves. They don't, however, get on. So you can't actually keep them together. So in theory, their ranges could actually overlap so they don't compete against each other. Now currently in this area, we've got 3 white rhinos. We've got the male out in this area today, and the 2 girls next door. If you haven't already seen them a bit earlier, pop up the rafters, might be on the way to the cheetahs. We do that because that's the normal behaviour of a white rhino. So a male white rhino will defend a territory, and he will mark his territory. One of the ways they mark their territory is with poop holes. They can see poop holes over there and another 2 over there as well. Keepers don't create those poop holes, the rhinos do. They always go back to certain spots to do their little business. The first thing this rhino did this morning when I let him out to the enclosure, he walked straight to the poop hole and smelt it. Rhinos have a very good sense of smell. He can not only smell the poo there, but he can smell who did that poo. He can smell whether it's a male or a female who did that poo. And he can even tell if it's a female, if she's in season or not. He can actually pick up the hormonal levels of that female purely by smelling manure. So we normally keep piles of manure around the forum, purely because we've got a pot heading to remove a fair bit of it, but normally we'll leave it. It's very important for rhinos to actually have this pile in here. So yesterday the girls were out this regularly, because they get used to these. So as far as he's concerned, this whole area is range. In the wild, yeah, he'd mark out that range. If he ever met another male rhino, he would try and defend his territory. And that's what the use of the horn is for, basically defending his territory against other males. If he can smell a female, he might start trying to follow them, because those females have a very large home range, which will overlap multiple males' territories. So whichever male's territory they're in, if that female's in season, is more than likely to be the male that's going to be mating with them. So the bigger the territory the male's got, the more chances he's got of breeding. So we try and replicate that natural behaviour as much as possible. So again, today the girls up there, the boys are here, we do swap them over. And if we need to, we also do introduce them together to breed as well. Now one of the reasons we do keep white rhinos here, other than A, they're a spectacular animal to look at, but they're also critically endangered as well. They're endangered because they're being hunted because of their horn. Now the rhinos use their horn, again, to defend their territory against other males, or defend themselves against other animals as well. But a rhino horn is very different to a cow horn. A cow horn has a bone, it's got blood flowing through it, and outside of that there's a keratinous material, a bit like our fingernail on the outside of it. So it's still got blood flowing through it and it's a bone. A rhino horn, however, is made up of densely compacted fibres. You might be able to see the base of his big front horn there. It looks a little bit like a wire brush. It's all these little filaments sticking up. It's made up of densely compacted fibres of keratin, basically the same as our hair. Unfortunately, some people in the world still believe that a rhino horn, because it comes from a big strong animal, if you ingest it, you're going to become big and strong. I believe some people even believe it cures COVID. It doesn't. It's the same chemical basically as our hair. You get the same benefit by munching on your own hair. Nothing whatsoever. But unfortunately, some people still believe it does have medicinal properties as well. Because of that, they're still being hunted. Even in a place like South Africa, they're being slaughtered at more than one a day. Over 400 a year are still being poached, killed by poachers. And in some cases, they're mothers with calves, so some of those calves are actually being hand-raised in facilities there as well. So one of the reasons we keep them here is A, they're a spectacular animal. B, we protect these animals as well. This fellow was actually born in Africa. If he'd still been in Africa, quite likely he would have been shot by now. But because he's here, he's protected. We do breed our rhinos here as well. We've shipped out ones from here to other zoological parks around Australasia and also gotten other animals in. So for this fellow here, he used to be a Dubbo, stronger Western Plains or Dubbo. The male we sent over to them. So we've actually done swapping of genetic material as well to ensure that we do the best thing possible for the animals, not just for us as well. But what we really need to try and do is try and protect the rhinos, is to try and stop the rhino trade, or the trade in rhino horns. So one of the ways we do that, I'm doing it right now. You're learning all about rhino horn. You know that the best place for a rhino horn is on a rhino. It has no other use whatsoever. So if you ever are in a situation overseas and you're ever offered medications that have rhino horn in it, A, you don't buy it because it is actually illegal in Australia. You cannot bring it into the country. The only place you can have rhino horn in the country is on a rhino. If you ever have international visitors, make sure you bring them to Monarto. Learn all about our lovely rhinos. See how magnificent these animals are. Tell them all about it as well. Make sure that no one basically will buy rhino horn, any medications that have rhino horn in it. If there's no demand, there'll be no supply. There's no supply of rhino to be protected. So one of the ways you can help rhinos as well, you've already helped today by visiting us. Thank you for that. Because we also do support conservation projects in Africa on and support these species as well. We also hope we're having a lot more rhinos here as well. Our property next door, Wild Africa, soon to be open hopefully. Future plans, hope to have 20 rhinos in Africa. If anyone's got any questions, happy to try and answer them. Thanks for Monarto today. Thank you for joining us, supporting our animals, but also supporting conservation and agriculture species in the wild. Enjoy your day here.
Cheetah in total, so 5 males, 11 females. But out the front today in this habitat, we've got 2 of our beautiful boys for you. So these 2 boys are both just over 2 years of age. So underneath the tree, just on your left-hand side, that is Absami. So Absami was born here at Monarto, and he went to just in February this year. And in with him, on the right-hand side, we've got another beautiful boy named Dakari. So Dakari is the newest cheetah that has joined us here on the park. He is from Sydney originally, and he came over here basically to pair up with Absami so they can be a little group of the 2. So in the wild, naturally, male cheetahs do bond together into groups. Those groups are called coalitions, and they do stay in those groupings for life. So Absami was born just a litter of him and a female. So when he was weaned off from mum, we didn't want to leave him just by himself, as it's not natural for the boys to be solitary. So we brought in Dakari. They've been together just since the end of last year, and absolutely getting along great. So now that they're bonded, they will stay together into the future, but still some growing for these boys to do. So male cheetah, full-grown, sexually mature around 3 years of age. So they're definitely getting there, getting big very quick, but yes, still some growing to do. So in terms of these boys, moving forward, they will be breeding males for us once they're all ready. So yes, we're looking forward to them being full-grown and very exciting indeed. But in terms of the talk today, I will throw them down a little bit of a treat. But now that they're right up the front, I'll leave them as is just for a couple moments. So when I do throw the food, they're more than likely to sort of head off away from the platform. So yeah, we'll leave them as is just for a few moments. But in terms of your larger cat species, cheetah, incredibly unique. So they are perfectly adapted to do what they do best. That's to run at those incredible speeds. So cheetah are the fastest land animal in the world. They have the ability to reach upwards of 110 kilometers per hour when they sprint. So absolutely amazing when you think about it. When you were driving along the expressway to visit us today, a cheetah could have been keeping up with the pace of your vehicle. So absolutely astounding when you think about it. They utilize that speed in order to survive in the wild, in order to hunt, and they're able to accelerate towards their prey from 0 to 80 kilometers in roughly 3 seconds. So the acceleration, the power behind that acceleration, absolutely intense, but of course they get very tired very quickly. So cheetah are not an endurance animal, so something like your spotted hyena, they can run it over a consistent pace, lots and lots of kilometers. Cheetah, only about 500 meters, so it well and truly is that sprint. So in terms of hunting, they have to be very opportunistic, making sure that prey is within that sprinting distance, choosing optimal times of day, so dawn and dusk, not going to be as hot as that midday section, but in order to continuously hunt throughout the day, they're just not able to do that as it's exerting so much energy, so they definitely have to pick and choose when they're going to attempt to catch prey. So they're being very patient, these boys, so we'll throw them down a little tree.
Backflip. Run. I think we can. They might have just been.
Alrighty, so we feed our carnivores here at Monarto 5 days a week. So today is a rest day, or what we call a starve day. So in the wild, they wouldn't be eating every single day. So lucky for these boys, they still get a little treat being out here for the talk today. Alrighty, so our microphone has decided to die, but we'll continue on. So in terms of being able to run as they do, cheetah perfectly adapted physically to do so. So that beautiful long tail they utilize like the rudder on a boat allows them to change direction very quickly, provides them with amazing balance as well. In terms of their skeletal structure, it is actually different. So in terms of their bones, they do have aerated bones, similar to what you would expect from a bird. Keeps them very aerodynamic. Very flexible spine as well, in combination with those incredibly long limbs, allows them to manipulate their body into those shapes to reach those high speeds. Internally, enlarged heart and lungs, increased nasal passage, allows them to get more oxygen in, and they do have what we call semi-retractable claws. So domestic cats, other big cat species, can basically retract their claws all the way in. Cheetah cannot do that, so by having them sit out all the time provides amazing traction when they are running. So perfectly adapted, yes, to be able to run as they do. Well, they make very quick work of those treats, that's for sure. So as I mentioned, your males in the wild naturally bond together into groups and stay in the groups. But in terms of this species, the females, complete opposite. So female cheetah in the wild are fully solitary. If the females have cubs, they raise them alone. So it's quite tricky out there for cheetah in general. Definitely for those females, if they do have cubs, they're incredibly vulnerable, with the mom being that solitary female. Of course, she has to go off and hunt so everyone can have a meal. But that leaves those cubs very vulnerable to your other larger groups of carnivores. So you've got your clans of hyena, you've got your prides of lions. They do choose cheetah cubs as a very vulnerable, nice meal for them. Unfortunately, leads to very high mortality of this of their natural habitat. Unfortunately, the majority of the issues they're still facing are human-animal conflict issues. So, big issues with farmer-animal conflict. Of course, for a hungry cheetah, farmers' livestock looks like a nice, easy buffet meal, but that causes a lot of tension and a lot of problems. So, we here at Monarto, we partner with an organization called the Cheetah Conservation Fund. They set up amazing programs to help this species in the wild. So because they highlighted that farmer-animal conflict was such a huge issue, they basically started a breeding program for a very large breed of dog, Anatolian Shepherds. So basically they started a breeding program for these dogs. The puppies, they provide them to the farmers. The farmers are able to raise them up as guard dogs for their livestock. So in terms of their nature, cheetah are a non-confrontational species. So by providing the farmers with these puppies, when they are fully grown as guard dogs, it's just enough to deter the cheetah away from that livestock. And it's been an incredibly successful program. So saves any retaliation from the farmers towards the cheetah, and also saves their livelihood as well. So amazing program that is. Of course, cheetah cubs, when they're little, absolutely adorable, cute, fluffy, which still leads to a huge issue for this species, and that's wildlife trafficking and the illegal pet trade. So lots of cubs taken every year from the wild for the sole purpose of being sold as domestic pets. Because of their docile nature, they're still an incredibly popular option for that. So, of course, all these little cubs being taken from the wild, absolutely imperative they remain there to help ensure their longevity into the future. So, lots of work left to do for this species, that's for sure. But yes, if you have any questions, anything you're curious about.
Yeah, for this Africa area. So in this area, we keep species that would be naturally occurring in the wild. So they do work quite well all together. So in here, of course, we have our olive grass that have just been fed in front of you there. It's a bit of a snack for them to come over and say good day. This is a breeding herd, so you might have heard or seen the young one. You might actually see over that way if you haven't seen it. That was born 2 weeks ago. So, yeah, it's very much a breeding herd, and there's lots of different sizes in here, as you can see, because of that. We also have eland in here, breeding group once again. The male, you will see when you come across him, he's probably the one just sitting down back over there, he looks quite large. He's a whole lot larger than the other girls, so when you are up a little bit closer on the buses, you'll be able to tell them apart. Girls have like a slender looking horns. So, once again, it's a breeding group, and I think recently, within the last month, we've had some more, so always lots of different sizes in here. We also have the ostrich in here. We do get them to sit on eggs when they lay them, so we are currently letting them breed. So if you ever go for a walk around, I'll just keep an eye on where she is. So this is Camille. She's very interested in everything. She was hand raised, and so she does come over and try to catch something. Yeah, so I was saying about the ostrich eggs. They're in the corner of the exhibit, and they are sitting on them predominantly. So every now and then you get a glimpse of them when they get off. So if you go for a walk around the park later on and you head that way, you go over and see them. And also we have some nyala behind you. And also another great breeding group. We have lots of different sizes in there, and they do quite well. They do love that cover. So sometimes they're a bit harder to see, but every now and then they do come out nice and close, lovely animals. And you'll be able to tell the male apart. He's quite a dark grey in colour and obviously bigger antlers as well. So all these species would be naturally occurring. So if she does do naughty things like that, we're trying to break the habit that she is to form. So a lot of her day can consist of breaking different behaviours. So that's something that we try to work on. She is very good, if you've been here before, at taking menstrual wipers. So all of that stemmed from that. And she spends a lot of time trying to get a little bit too close to us, so we have to think about what we're doing. So a little spray bottle helps that sort of situation.
Why is the giraffe only looking at the book?
But talking about giraffe, like I was saying here before, we have lots of different ages, and the gestation period for a giraffe is about 16 months, so quite a long period of time. And of course, if you haven't seen it before on a program before, they do birth standing up, so it is quite interesting to watch. And sometimes can be very quick when it does happen, so creeps up on me. And I was also saying that I have given them what we call a little bit of a snack meal. So about 3 or 4 branches is a snack for a group this size. So throughout the day, we give them quite large branches morning and night. And it would consist of probably about three of those poles worth of large branches. So they do eat a fair bit. They also love loose, which is demonstrating very well. It's the green of the hay that we feed out. They do get access to those hay feeders pretty much full all day long, so they can do much as they want. They also get what we call a browser pellet, which is a specially formulated pellet that give them a few bits of extra vitamin and minerals that they might require. And they do really enjoy that, so we tend to use it as a bit of a reward for doing the right thing. So you might give it to them for going into their night quarters or for coming back out of their night quarters. So that's usually when they get their main feed. As you can see as well, they're doing a really good job right at the top there of stripping off a lot of that bark. So they use their tongues and their mouths really well to help strip off that bark, because there is stuff there that they require and they want to eat. And it is quite being so fresh. It's only just been picked this morning. We are lucky enough to have quite a few plantations here that we can go pick from, and we do actually have a browse collector that will come to your house and harvest some really large trees, depending on what it is, of course. It's we need it to be edible growth. So there's a few different species that we do look for those. So this today is selected. It does grow quite well here in the Mallee region, so it is quite good. So, has anyone got any questions? A smaller group? Is there some newer born ones here? We have some older ones as well. So recently, the one that was born was actually born from one of that. So, getting up in the age, usually our oldest ones throughout the region, so Australia, they're getting 21, 22 is a really good age for a giraffe. So in the wild, you're probably looking a bit closer to 15. Obviously, a lot more predators and things to look out for in the wild. But here in captivity, as long as they have good health and we can help control that, then they can live for as long as their body will take Last question before I get off.
Let's go.
I'm loving it, aren't you?
Yeah, you will see them sitting there. Good job.